Okay, let's unpack this. We're looking at one of the most, well, striking figures in the sources you've shared on Revelation, chapters 10 and 11 specifically.
That's right, the mighty angel.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to deep dive into these descriptions, these really vivid descriptions, and see what the sources actually reveal about who this might be. I mean, picture this, a being coming down from heaven, cloaked in cloud, rainbow overhead, face like the sun, feet like pillars of fire. It's quite the entrance.
It really is. The imagery is incredibly powerful.
And here's where it gets, well, really interesting. This angel holds a small open scroll. One foot's on the sea, the other's on land, and then roars like a lion.
That roar, too. Very significant.
Right. Then a voice from heaven tells John, the one receiving this vision, take the scroll and eat it.
Which he does.
He does. And it's sweet like honey in his mouth, but then bitter in his stomach. Straight after that, he's told, you must prophesy again concerning many peoples and nations and languages and kings.
What's fascinating there, I think, is the sheer power and the symbolic weight. It immediately makes you ask, well, who is this? This isn't just, any standard angel. The description's sun-like face, the lion's roar, that rainbow, they evoke these profound associations, often linked in these texts to, well, divine presence.
Right.
And the command given to John, eat the scroll, then prophesy. It underscores a crucial message, an authoritative mission being passed on, either by this figure or maybe through this figure.
And the plot thickens, doesn't it? Because after the scroll eating, John gets a measuring rod, he's told. Measure God's temple, the altar, the worshipers, but leave the outer court out.
Yes, because it's given to the Gentiles, trampled for 42 months.
Exactly, 42 months. And then right after that instruction, we hear about my two witnesses.
The witnesses.
Yeah, who get authority to prophesy for 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth. These timings, the witnesses, they're key markers, aren't they? Directly tied to this angel's arrival and mission.
Absolutely critical prophetic points in Revelation. It all seems connected back to this initial appearance.
So, okay, with all these incredible details laid out, the big puzzle, the one your sources really wrestle with, is who exactly is this mighty angel? Is it just a very powerful angel or something more?
And this, raises a really important question because the sources, they present a compelling debate. It's not clear-cut.
Not at all.
On one hand, you've got these really strong parallels to how the texts describe Jesus.
Yeah.
Especially post-resurrection.
Like how?
Well, his spiritual body being described like an angel, the lion being his symbol elsewhere in Revelation, appearance details like the sun-like face.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
And crucially, that phrase, my two witnesses. If the angel is the one saying my witnesses, that implies divine ownership, divine authority.
Which points towards?
Towards God or Jesus. I mean, Jesus is depicted elsewhere as being on the throne. So this interpretation, it could strongly suggest the mighty angel is actually Jesus returning in some capacity.
That's definitely a strong case, especially with the my witnesses line. But the sources you shared, they also pump the brakes a bit, right? They raise counterpoints.
They do. Important ones.
Like, well, why is he specifically called an angel if he is Jesus? That seems pretty direct terminology.
A very fair question.
And maybe even more significantly, if this is Jesus on earth, why does a voice from heaven speak above him, giving commands, like telling John to eat the scroll or to prophesy? Shouldn't Jesus be the ultimate authority in that scene?
That's a major point of discussion in the commentaries. The sources also mention translation differences. Who exactly is giving certain commands, the angel or the voice from above? It adds another layer of ambiguity.
And that phrase, like an angel, commentators point out, well, doesn't necessarily mean is, right? It could mean having similar characteristics or appearing in a spiritual form, but not actually being an angel.
Exactly. One scholar you included notes something like, Jesus was Adam, but not merely Adam. He became like an angel, but is not merely an angel. He's seen as sustaining reality itself, ultimately.
So a much higher status.
Precisely. So if we try to connect this to the bigger picture, the sources seem to collectively suggest maybe some wisdom in not rushing to a definitive yes or no.
Resisting the easy answer.
Right. The original Greek is angelos ischeros, mighty angel. And that exact phrase, it appears elsewhere in Revelation, clearly referring to, well, an angel.
So maybe take the text at its word.
Perhaps the most profound insight here is just recognizing the power in accepting the text's own designation, allowing for the possibility that it is simply a tremendously powerful angelic messenger without forcing one specific interpretation onto it. It kind of invites us into the mystery.
And I think for you, the listener, this whole deep dive really shows how layered and, frankly, how rich these ancient texts can be. They invite us to explore meaning, to sit with questions without always demanding that single absolute answer right away. Sometimes, the aha moment is actually in embracing that nuance, appreciating the scholarly conversation itself.
Definitely. And maybe consider this just as a final thought. When you encounter these descriptions of really powerful symbolic figures, doesn't matter if it's ancient texts or even modern stories, how much does the ambiguity itself actually contribute to their power, to their enduring impact? And maybe what does that teach us about our own search for understand complex things?